Alrighty, guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Fairy Tale episode 303. 303. Damn, guys, we're getting into it. So last episode we had Lady Irene, who it has some kind of connection to Urza. I theorized either a mom or a sister. I want to lean towards mom if I was like a writer. I feel like that'd be a very writer thing to do, is reintroduce the mom. But I felt like Lady Irene didn't look super old, but it's also hard to tell age in anime, so I'm leaning more towards mom, but I could see it being sister because of, age and stuff. But who knows? Maybe we'll find out this episode. Also, Lady Irene seems to be going uh to take on Acnologia herself, I think. We had Zareth pinpoint that she was changing the magic of the land, which I don't know exactly what that means. It seems like she might be preparing it to be like her battlefield or something. Like maybe it's a special zone that she can fight in or something. But based off when she was talking about the fourth guest, and I noticed it a bit more when I got into editing. I felt like it was more clear when I got to reread it again that the fourth guest is Acnologia, who she is going to be going up against. So that should be very interesting if that happens. And then we also had Gajeel and Levi fighting Bloodman, who seems to be a culmination of all the demon gates plus some of his own power. And it seems like Gajeel and Levi are down for the count right now, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. And Levi is really hurt because she bluffed that having the mask would block the Bane particles, and it didn't, so I really hope she's okay. But yeah, guys, stuff is crazy, and next episode we get to watch the intro. I'll probably, for 304, I'll probably, even for people watching this on Vimeo, I'll try to keep the at least my reaction to the intro in. I won't be able to really keep the video footage of the intro in, but you can at least hear like my thoughts on parts, and if you guys have seen it enough, you'll know what I'm talking about just based off that, even if it's not on the screen. So yeah, I'll leave that in for at least the first time. Maybe I'll try to do that from now on for all my shows whenever I watch a opening for the first time. But yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to this, so let's just jump on into it, shall we? Alrighty, guys, so like usual, there's going to be a Vimeo link in the description. You click that link, and it'll bring you right to the reaction portion. And then as soon as you're done with that, you can come back here to the YouTube video and listen to my discussion where I talk about the episode and what happened, what I liked, and, trying to come up with theories of what could happen and everything. So make sure you guys check that out, and go ahead and click that link in the description right now, guys. Alrighty, guys, so that is the end of episode 303. Wow, guys. Whew, that was a crazy episode, but not in the sense of, hypeness. It was more like our heroes of the story, Fairy Tale, and all the other guilds that came together have been doing a good job so far, and we're kind of bound to take a turn for the worse where they take a hit, but I have a theory to kind of justify in my head that Gajeel isn't gone. I almost lost it. If this was any other show, honestly, that actually killed off characters, I would have been in tears because I felt them coming. But then I started to think to myself, well, this is Fairy Tale. They've done this an upteen amount of times, and the character always comes back, So I didn't really forcibly hold back the tears, but that thought kind of nullified them a little bit. My eyes watered up a lot. It was still very sad. I still do not want Gajeel to be gone. I'm gonna be... I probably won't cry, but be very sad if he's gone, because I feel like if there was gonna be any moment that I'd, actually start crying, it would have been that part right there. But in hindsight, after looking through the whole episode, we know that Mavis is a source of everlasting magic power, and she is now broken from the crystal, which they decided to show happening this episode, the same episode that Gajeel poofed, the same episode that Levy's, very hurt from the Bane particles, the same episode that Natsu, Lucy, messed well, I think Brandish might be okay. I doubt that he would have fried her as well. And Happy, I don't remember if I said Happy or not, but all of them got blasted by that giant whatever that fire magic spell, which Natsu might be able to survive, and maybe he was able to protect Lucy because he was holding on to her. But I don't know how Happy would survive unless it just wasn't as strong as it looked. Unless Mavis utilized her, eternal magic power, kind of like the thing on Tenro Island that prevented them from dying. That kind of thing might come back and prevent them from dying, but I'm also wondering if it can affect Gajeel as well and bring him back, which is what I'm hoping happens. But man, the thing that stinks is I'm hoping it happens, but at the same time I hope it doesn't happen, because they spent, half this episode building up the fact that he's leaving, and I felt like it would be like a waste of half an episode if he comes back. But it is in typical fairy tale fashion, so I wouldn't be like, fuck this show, I'm not gonna watch it anymore because they do that. It would just be like, okay, they pulled a fairy tale, because they spent a lot of time building up the fact that Lasana was gone too, and she was just in another dimension and she came back. And then they had times where they built up, Urza's death during the Tower of Heaven, where she was, floating in that dream world, seeing her own funeral and stuff, and, you don't know if it's real or fake, even though, you can kind of assume it's fake, but, even still, they do a lot of death teasing that takes up a lot of time, so I would not be surprised if they did it in this episode too. But at the same time, since we're coming up to the end, they could just have him be gone. So, man, I don't know. I don't know which one I prefer. I don't know if I prefer him to be gone forever and me just feel that heartache of him being gone forever, or if I prefer it to be another fairy tale fake out, But man, that was so sad. Just that whole thing, because Gajeel's a cool character. He was never my favorite, but I did like him. He wasn't my least favorite, but he wasn't my favorite. He was just kind of like a cool character that we got to see every now and then. And whereas if it was someone closer to the heart, regardless of whether they would have been okay or not, I probably would have been, crying. But I guess if it was Wendy, there's not too many characters, because Lucy or Natsu, I just wouldn't believe they're dead, if that kind of thing happened. And then, I'm not sure who else, aside from, Wendy, I would have been, really upset. I guess Urza, too, but I don't see Urza dying either, especially when we have this whole Lady Irene situation, which we still haven't got any more information as to how those two are connected. So my theory that I mentioned at one point, that the opening that I get to watch next episode probably might have some kind of information about that, isn't the case. I'm guessing it just has to do with the showdown between Acnologia and Lady Irene, and maybe some hints at Gajeel, being gone as well. Might be in the opening as well, but I don't know. But that's just me metagaming based off knowing that the next episode is the episode that I can watch the opening, so let's get off the metagame topic, because I usually try to avoid that stuff. But we had Mest pulling a stupid this episode. I don't know. I guess I understand why he did it. But after Brandish helped so much, even just to... I understand what he wanted to do to uh, the Wizard King, August, because if this negotiation didn't go well, and August is that powerful to the point where, supposedly nobody in Fairy Tail can beat him, even if like all of Fairy Tail went up against him, it sounded like they would still lose. I don't know. I can kind of understand why Mess did what he did, but what he did was utilized, a relatively innocent person. Like, yes, she came as an attacking force from the other country, but she hasn't done anything to hurt Fairy Tail except for shrinking the house next to Lucy's and then shrinking Lucy's house. And I believe that's all she did, and she also saved Natsu's life. And I think shrinking a couple houses is fine since it saved Natsu. And then Natsu was able to save the entire guild. So Brandish is like... did not deserve what Mess did to her at all. And, where I can kind of see where his mind is at, I don't agree with it at all. And I'm pretty disappointed that, he went this route, because he was always such a fun character, and to see him like devolve like this is just a little upsetting. And then it would have been one thing if it actually worked. You might be able to justify his actions, and he's like, well, he did save us from, this possible horrible situation, but no, he made it worse because August was actually listening until Mess did this, And who knows how the negotiations would have went. Maybe August would have still fought, but now August is just angry, and vindictive. And whereas I think all the characters are okay because of what Mavis is gonna do is my guess. It's he obviously didn't know that was gonna happen, so that's no justification for his actions at all. But yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in that regard. And then we had the fight between Lady Irene and Acnologia, which having that in this episode where they did all this to Gajeel, I just wasn't as excited for it anymore because of me being upset about Gajeel. Just didn't make me as hyped as I could have been of their fight. Because before I started this episode with just the theory that they might fight, I was really excited for it. I was really looking forward to it. But after all that, I was just like... I was so thrown for an emotional loop that I just didn't really care about what came after the episode as much. So, like, the random, like, blasts weren't as impactful to me. Like, I didn't really care about what she was slinging at Acnologia, especially since it didn't seem to have any effect. He just kind of slapped it off. But now that thing at the very end, the, Universe 1, like what did Zareth called it? He called it like the world reconstruction magic. I wonder what that is gonna do. Is that like, because reconstruction means like, rebuilding essentially. So is she gonna rebuild the landscape into something else? Or is she taking in, all of these mountains and everything, and she's just gonna, like, level off the entire continent to the point where it's perfectly flat, and everything that she took in becomes, like, magic power that she can do, like, one enormous blast against Acnologia? But that would just be... I wouldn't really see that as reconstruction. I feel like that would be a bad word, and that's possibly a bad translation on you know, whoever did the subtitles for this episode. But at the same time, I don't want to think that way, so I'll just believe that it's reconstruction. So it makes me think that she's gonna somehow reconstruct everything that she took in, but I don't know what she could make that would like really make a difference, you know? Like why would she bother reconstructing the land in order to defeat Acnologia, you know? So I like my first theory that she's taking in all that land as like a source of magic power because we know like magic power flows through the land, I believe. So maybe that's how that will work out. But I'm very much Universe 1 is what it's called. That's getting into like friggin' like universal magic and stuff like that. Like that just sounds insane. So I have no idea what it's gonna do, what's gonna happen to all the people. The other thing is for a brief moment I thought since it's happening to everybody on Fiore, I was thinking maybe it would be some kind of time travel sort of thing, and that's how Gajeel and everybody else would be okay. And it might be kind of like a similar situation where they get like a deja vu vibe, kind of like reusing the concept of what happened with Ultir. Uh, but I don't see them reusing that same thing just because it might not be creative enough. And then also, I feel like it's kind of like a just like a cop out for whatever her ability could be. But for a brief moment, I thought of that, so I just figured I'd mention it, you know. But I'm just not sure what else this could actually be aside from just like, you know, one enormous attack that utilizes the land itself of the entire kingdom, you know. But damn, and it was like the entire thing. So I hope all the people are alright and everything. And I'm wondering, because even if Mavis saves everybody here, the thing is I think she can only save everybody that's connected by the fairy tale emblem. Uh, unless there's some kind of like different, unless she can target certain people, you know. So she could target all of fairy tale. She could target all of like the characters that we know. But the thing is unless she's able to target everybody in Fiore, then a lot of people are gonna die if this is the type of magic that kills everybody. That gets like, you know, it showed it like absorbing mountains. So if it's absorbing the people too, but it might just absorb like non-living matter, and that might be around it too. And then everybody would just be on this like flat scape, all their houses gone, everything gone, but people are still alive, and that's like the important thing, you know. Um, but other than that, the only other way, if it does absorb the people, the only other way is I can either see Mavis saving all the important characters and letting all the innocent bystanders just die, and it's just a tragedy, or she is able to save all of the bystanders as well, you know, kind of like what I've already kind of explained. But yeah, anyways, the yeah, man, I have no idea. I'm really excited for the next episode, though. I might actually record another one ahead of time just so I can see what happens next, to be honest. But I probably won't end up doing that. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much all I have to say because, you know, a huge section of this episode was just the whole Gajeel thing and all of that emotional bits and you know, I almost mentally prepared myself when I saw the title was Together Always, and I knew that Levy wasn't doing good, although I didn't really expect it to be Gajeel that left. But then when Gajeel was leaving and Levy was running, I thought Levy might go with him, and they both would be gone, which would have been so much worse. But at the same time, them being together, even if it's in death, would have been sort of beautiful in a way, you know? But, man, I wasn't prepared enough. But yeah, guys, well, I think I'm gonna call it there. I don't really have much else to discuss for this episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And like usual, if you want to support the channel, you can check out my Patreon. The link is in the description, where you can get access to the full-length episode as well as early access. So if you want to see, if you're watching this on YouTube right now and you want to see the next episode, you guys can head over to the Patreon and check that out as well. And it supports me and what I do and all that, and I very much appreciate it. You can also just subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is free and all that, so that also helps, and I very much appreciate that as well. But yeah, guys, once again, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.